Hello, welcome to the American Business Podcast. I'm Kevin Deveji, your host. I'm welcoming you to episode 48, and we are in the season 2. And I'm happy to announce our partnership with missionstatements.com. So, in the beginning of every episode, we have the quote of the day. Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe by Abraham Lincoln, powered by missionstatements.com. Well, today we have a lot to cover and we have a great guest. I'll invite our guest and we can get the conversation started. We have Beth Granger with us from Beth Granger Consulting Company. Beth, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Thank you very much for being with us. How is your week going so far?
It went really fast. I don't know, maybe because last week was short with the holiday, but here we are. It's Friday.
Yes, time flies. And happy Friday, by the way.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you very much. Well, why don't we get started? As a start, would you please introduce yourself and your company to our audience and to our listeners, please?
Absolutely. I'm Beth Granger. I'm a trainer, consultant, and speaker on the topic of unleashing the power of LinkedIn. I'm also an Exactly What to Say certified guide where I work with individuals and organizations to help them with their most critical conversations, leadership, team, etc.
Well, thank you very much for being with us. Can you tell us your career path? How did you choose your career?
Well, so I didn't start as a LinkedIn trainer because LinkedIn didn't exist when I started my career. I started as a graphic designer and then moved into creative direction, branding, corporate identity, social media. And when I started my business about 15 and a half years ago, it was like freelancing. I was doing all different kinds of projects. And one of my clients said, our sales team's coming in next month. Can you teach them how to use LinkedIn? And here I am, all these years later.
Amazing. Time flies.
Yeah.
And that's a great story. So, when you think about your day to day activities at work, what are the exciting and challenging parts of your work you can share with us?
Yeah. My favorite thing is that I get to learn about and be almost like a fly on the wall, as they say, at all different organizations. And I get to learn about so many different businesses, and I'm endlessly curious. So this allows me to do that and support them in all different ways. And that's my favorite thing. I would say challenges are really the same challenges that any business owner has throughout their day or their career. And I describe it as the best roller coaster ride I've ever been on.
You actually mentioned LinkedIn, and we all use social media in some form nowadays. That's how it looks like it. However, you are the expert in this field, so we love to learn in our podcast because the way that we design our podcast is informative and educational um, uh, as it can be. So when we think about LinkedIn and social media, from your point of view, how businesses can actually benefit from LinkedIn and social media, and what can businesses do to actually benefit even further to improve their interactions in LinkedIn as well as increase the impact of their activities on LinkedIn when they utilize it?
Well, that's a very long conversation, but there are some things that I think about. A lot of people are apprehensive when it comes to LinkedIn compared to other social media platforms because it's their career at stake. On Instagram, if they share a picture of what they ate for dinner, they're fine with that. But on LinkedIn, they wonder, if I post something, who's going to see it? Is my boss going to see it? Is my competitor going to see it? And they wonder what's the right way to behave, because there is some behavior that people don't like that happens on LinkedIn. So I think there's a little of that. And the way I think of it is, yes, it's great for thought leadership and branding and sales conversations, but first and foremost, I think of it as a networking place. So as if you were in a room full of people, and would you say that thing to the person you just met or would you not? That's sort of my guiding principle for all behavior on the platform.
Yeah, that's a great point. And yeah, I mean, millions of professionals are using LinkedIn. And yeah, you're right. I mean, we see many different type of actually posts, and they make different impact. Sometimes they don't at all. So, well, it's good to learn from me in terms of some insights. How about AI? So when we think about AI a little bit, so how is it affecting this type of interactions from your point of view, whether that's LinkedIn or social media or in general? Actually, when
Yeah.
we think about it, because
So,
it's a pretty popular subject, right? We
mhm.
actually trace the viewership in our podcast, and anytime that we talk about AI, we cover AI, it just picks. That's just inevitable because it's a popular subject.
Yes.
So what is your take on this?
So there are different parts to my thinking about this. LinkedIn itself, as a platform, is trying to introduce some AI features for us. So far, I would encourage people not to use them. To me, it's just, you've heard the term AI slop. And the same goes for using AI directly to help you with your content. Is it a tool? Absolutely, but you need to make it yours and it needs to sound like you. Otherwise, everybody's going to sound the same. And I actually did an experiment with a couple of friends. We all put the exact same prompt into one of the AI tools to
Mhm,
see how similar the responses would be. And they weren't exact, but they were similar enough that there was no differentiation. There was no personality. Um,
mhm,
where I see AI being incredibly powerful for social media, for marketing in general, are tools that help you do things that would take you too long to do, or where it can scan vast amounts of information to catch things that you might not realize. So, for instance, I've been experimenting with tools to put in an hour-long video and have it use AI to chop it up into clips and shorter pieces. And while none of the tools are 100% perfect, they're really very interesting. They come up with the hashtags that go along with it. They come up with the um, clips that they think are good, and sometimes they tell you why. So that's where I think it's amazing. Where I don't think it's good is there are tools out there now that allow you to use AI to comment for you on LinkedIn. Not only are that most of them against the terms of service and can get your account shut down, but
mm,
no, would you send a robot to speak to your best client, prospect, or referral partner? No, you want to have
no,
that conversation.
that's a good point. And to your point, actually, yes, you're right. I mean, nowadays we can easily tell, especially those postings on social media, say LinkedIn specifically, once it's generated by AI, you can really tell. You can tell by the way that it's designed, the structure, images. So, to your point, yeah, they look pretty similar in terms of at least maybe not 100% the content, but the presentation of it.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, it's also not authentic in that way. I
Yeah.
think, yeah, that to that point. It may make sense to get some ideas, but just using it as it is, like 100%, I think it's not serving any purpose.
Exactly.
Being on
Exactly.
on LinkedIn, because you like to be authentic, right? You like to be yourself, and then share your professional insight and then feedback,
I saw a
utilizing it.
meme
Yeah.
once that said something like, I don't want AI to write and create art. I want it to do my chores and clean my house so I can write and create art. And that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, it makes sense, and I think that's in a way we'll keep using AI, that's for sure. But at the same time, there is gonna be certain services, and we're gonna brand it as human powered, and others are AI powered. So I'm seeing these division in the market, and in a way, it's an opportunity for differentiation to services as well. Hey, I'm offering this service that's human powered. There is no AI involved, so it's completely authentic. So I'm seeing I'm seeing these in some services. So that's, I think, where it is going. So speaking of AI, do you think will AI replace humans and their jobs? What do you think?
Well, certainly maybe some jobs, just like every big change changes things and replaces some things but creates others. So every kind of new thing creates opportunity as well. So I'm not, some people are very worried about it. I'm
Mhm.
more curious to see what happens.
Well, let's talk about role models, if that's okay. Can you tell us about your role models? Have you had any role models that you can share with us in this podcast?
Oh, so many. Um, so very long time ago, when I was a kid, I used to take painting and etching classes. And the woman that led those, she was just an amazing individual. And she inspired me to allow my creativity to flow. More recently, before I started my business, I thought I was looking for a new job. And I was invited to a networking event with a woman named Ellen Volpe. And I didn't know what networking was. And it was an amazing introduction to the kind of networking that I want to do. If I had gone to some other event, I might have walked away and never gone back. This was an amazing group of people that she led who really cared about each other and wanted to support each other. And in fact, they knew I was starting my business before I did.
Can you tell us some lessons learned in your career journey? You have decades of experience, and any career lessons learned that you know you got in your career journey that you can share with us?
Sure. I think looking back, I was very risk averse. I was given opportunities when I was quite young that I didn't take because I was afraid. And looking back, I think, what's the worst that could have happened? So if somebody is young, especially if they don't have a lot of responsibilities, that's when a great time to take those risks and try things and say yes more than you say no.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much for sharing with us. We keep talking about in our podcast about work and life balance. Or earlier we talked about integration of both, for example. So that's a common subject that we keep talking about, and we get different insights. So speaking of that. Do you have any interests outside of work? Any passions that you can share with us?
Yeah, many, many. I love to cook. I'm very crafty, although I don't give myself the time to do that. Anything that involves being near the water or near the woods, I like that as well. So those are the main things I like to do.
We in our podcast, what we do is, especially we like to share, informative content with today's professionals as well as next generation. Do you have any career advice for those who are thinking about getting into perhaps social media or any other field, for example?
So
Any career advice that you can
yeah,
share with
I,
us?
I I absolutely do. So I've seen a lot of fun videos about careers on TikTok and Instagram, and a lot of them are very um, they show somebody not wanting to take on something that isn't part of their official responsibility. And all the things that have led to the best growth and new things for me were all things that weren't in my job description. So they were an extra project or they had nothing to do with what I did, but I took it on. So I think that staying inside a box doesn't allow you growth. So do those extra things.
Mhm. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you very much, Beth. Before we end our conversation, um, for our listeners and audience, if they like to continue this conversation, what is the best way that they can reach out to you and learn about your company?
Well, of course, LinkedIn, and you may know that, or you may not know, there's a setting where you can leave your messages open. So anybody can send me a message on LinkedIn, even if we're not connected.
Mhm.
And of course, there's my website, bethgranger.com.
Beth, thank you so much for being with us in your busy schedule. Truly
Thank
appreciate
you.
your insights. I wish you a great weekend.
You too.
Thank you very much. Well, to our audience and to our listeners, thank you very much for listening and watching today's episode. On YouTube, we just actually passed 90,000 subscribers. I truly appreciate your support. It means a lot to us. If you haven't done so, please go to our YouTube channel. You can see the QR code right here, and you can scan the QR code. It'll take you to our YouTube channel. You can subscribe, you can like, and you can share your thoughts and comments. We appreciate it. And as you know, every week we bring educational, informative content in our business podcast, and the our goal is to basically and fundamentally share this knowledge and professional wisdom with our audience. So this basically helps all of us to improve us professionally as part of continuous improvement. So that is our goal, and that is why every week we bring you informative content. And the good news is we are pretty much booked until September, and every week we have experts with us. We already scheduled them, and they are gracious to join us, just like today. Beth Granger joined us, and we'll keep bringing you these informative episodes on weekly basis. Would you like to be a guest speaker in our podcast, or you know someone who can be a guest? Please send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. Also, if you have any feedback that you like to share with us in the form of any subject matter expert that you like us to have in our podcast, any particular subject that you like us to cover, and also ask our guests in episodes, you can also send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. We also have a form that you can fill out and get in touch with us. Actually, if you scan this code, we have the feedback form. You can fill this form, send us as well as an alternative to email, whichever is easier for you. We'll be happy to hear from you. We keep an open mind, and your feedback is really important for us. Well, what else is happening? Let's see. If you visit our website, americanpodcast.tv, you can also get the list of our scheduled episodes, who is coming, who will be the guest, the subject that we'll cover. Also, you can learn more about our business podcast as well. And also, we had this conversation earlier with one of our guests. You can also go to ChatGPT and search about American Business Podcast and learn more about us as well. ChatGPT has a lot of information, a lot of informative content about our business podcast as well. And we have a sponsor, IPVanish VPN. If you are looking for VPN, IPVanish is a solid system. I also use IPVanish as a VPN. You can go to this link that I'm sharing on the screen. You can learn about IPVanish VPN, and if you're interested and if you're in need of a VPN software, you can also consider subscribing to IPVanish software system. Well, I'd like to thank you for your time and thank you for your interest. I'm looking forward to having you in the next the American Business Podcast episode. Thank you very much and have a great weekend.